What's happening, everyone? I was just clicking around on my desktop here for a moment, getting ready for a demo at some point. Did you guys know Twitter has encrypted messaging? It is available. It is kind of hidden, but we're going to talk about that at some point as well. We got Ben and Randy on the show. Lots of good stuff to get into. Yeah, you see my background is Richard and Pikachu. That Pikachu. Type in the chat if you know what's behind Pikachu and where that screenshot came from. It is a classic, instant classic when it first came out. So very fun. Yeah, should be a fun show. Got that to talk about a little bit of security, a little bit of community, and maybe even economics. Do you guys want to ask how the world is turning right now? Feel free to shout down Jackson. Feel free to ask that in the chat as well, and we'll get into it. But without further ado, let's. I'll talk to the chat here in a second. Let me get these people in though. Ben DuBard and Randy Hilarski. How's it going?
Good. I just saw in the chat. I wanted to remind everyone on their Windows to get their Windows computers turned on and turn their VPNs on as well. I know you approve of that, RHMax, huh?
That's throw them in the trash. I thought that's what you were going to say. Take your Windows computers and throw them in the trash, and then take them to the recycling store and go get yourself a MacBook Pro. That's what I heard. That's what I was thinking.
But why did you leave out? Why did you leave that out? The VPN for the Macs.
VPN for Macs. I mean, VPN for if you're using RISC-V or if you're using some other crazy architecture VPNs. Yeah, I've got a few VPN rants. I'll get to chat. Let me know if you want me to rant on VPNs today. However, I think there's a time and place for them.
VPNs.
I'll say it like this. I'll say that Windows has its place. VPNs have their place. They're just often misused and they're overused when there are better alternatives. I'll say it like that. Very diplomatic, right? There you go.
I use Proton VPN along with my Proton emails and all those kind of things. So I try to do some security, not a ton, but some.
Oh, you said it, Randy. You said security when you should have said privacy.
Randy,
I mean, they do have some security features. However, my position basically is they're mostly for privacy. People rely on them not to get hacked. They don't help for that aspect, although they may market that particular piece of it quite well in order to get people to buy it. Again, not saying they're not useful. Just I don't know if you're. Anyway, not going to go down this road, Randy. Not going to go down this road today. Okay, it's been a rough morning already. I've had to explain some shit I don't want to talk about. Just kidding. Let me say hi to the chat real quick. Let's pivot before we get into some fun stuff. Shout out to NordVPN and Proton VPN and all the VPNs out there. We love you so much. We love you. Diehard Hexkin. Good morning, everyone. Excited for the stream. Favorites in the ecosystem. That is appreciate that. I don't know if you're talking about me or talking about Ben or talking about all of us.
You better be talking about our son.
I mean, Ben's in the chat. Here you go. You got Ben's in the chat. Randy was in here somewhere. Let me find Randy. Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. Randy, so you're not going fishing? Was that the green room answer?
Okay. Not going fishing.
Just wearing your shout out to Brian Magruder swag.
Yeah, Brian Magruder's the man.
Motherfucker. Red Squirrel. You did it, Red Squirrel. You did it. Kai's is here. We might be getting a clip. You got to say something really fun and insightful. You might get a clip today.
X to $1 million in 2 years.
You got to stretch it out for about
right now.
You got to build it up. You got to do like 45 seconds of like, here's your thesis, and then boom, shocker, and then instant clip. Like, shout out to Kaiser. You do some great work. Appreciate every time you show up in my channel or any other, because I know it's going to be some fun clips and some virality for us. Appreciate that in the bear market. The Chad of Chads of Chads. I don't know if you guys seen this guy before, but he works out. So I want to say about that. Oh, clip Ben. You've been clipped, Ben. There you go. Already done. We got the clip in for the day.
No. They're coming after me with that one.
The top of the stream happened and 5 minutes in. There you go. What's up, Hex Glenn? Good to see you. Yeah, everyone, let's real quick, because I don't think a lot of people are aware. You can do encrypted, because me and Ben were talking about messaging and how his messages got messed up or something with me this morning. And I was like, I don't think you can delete messages. However, I think you can delete conversations, but I don't think you can delete individual messages on Twitter. But there is encrypted messaging, and I have my little test account here, and I'll show you if you want to do it. So I don't follow anyone, so I'm just going to literally type in anyone who can receive a DM. Test.
Face testy.
Face testy. Good. You get a blue check mark. And then you go to that little I button up top in the top right, and then start an encrypted message. And then, Okay, now I can't send to this person. Okay, anyways, that's how you do it. If you actually have communication, maybe they got to follow me or something. I don't know, but you do that, and then it brings up a screen, and it looks just like your original messaging, except it says it's encrypted, all this stuff. And if you read about it, it sounds legit. Now, I'm not putting my stamp of approval or anything on it, but the way they do it is similar. It's private keys, public keys, and stuff. It is automatically registered with a browser or device. The private key never leaves the device and never communicated to X. I mean, they're saying all the right stuff here. And who is eligible? Okay, so maybe, that's probably why I couldn't send the person, because maybe they need to be, they're verified users. Interesting. So maybe it's, okay. Everyone try this.
I just sent you a message using the.
You sent me a message? Yeah, I got it. Boom. Yeah, I sent one to Ben earlier. So, but we all have blue check marks. So maybe it's only blue check marks. Maybe that's how they got with it. Like, we only want to support people who we already have some sort of credit card on file with, I guess, apparently.
I can finally share with you my secret plans.
Exactly. I've been waiting for a way to do that. We finally figured out.
Isn't Telegram automatically encrypted though?
It's a hard question. I mean, the answer is always yes. I mean, every website is encrypted. Just about everything used these days since postmodern or the modern era post Snowden is encrypted in some way. However, there's better and worse encryption. There's encryption that somebody can get in the middle of. There's encryption where multiple parties have the keys, which is not your encryption, you could say. And there's different flavors of it. So pretty much everything is encrypted in one way. It's just that who are you sharing the key with, and how much who can access the messages. So it's encrypted, but like maybe only 5 people can do it, or maybe only you in the company, or maybe only you. That's what we want ideally. So for example, Signal, they have a whole bunch of, there's actually a really good article. I'm not going to explain it. I'm just going to show everyone. If they want to go down the gory details of how Signal works, technical details, they actually talk about their encryption. Somebody talks about it. I forget where I saw the article, but it talks about like how it works. It's like different. It's even more than what X does, even more than what Twitter does. And let me just scroll down. I'm not going to read
I heard that even the powers that be were able to go into some groups' private Signal messages and
yeah. I heard that for Telegram too. I heard the founder of Telegram had some weird connections going on.
I would not trust Telegram's encryption. I'm not gonna be like, you guys are gonna keep my stuff safe. Although I don't trust anyone. So I wouldn't trust Discord. I wouldn't trust. Well, I mean, pretty much.
I use Signal, I don't know. I use Signal daily, and I have Telegram as the other one. So and then obviously you guys message me on Twitter as well. So I don't mind starting to use the encrypted side. Not at all. That's awesome. Yeah,
it is a little tiny hidden feature. You literally have to hit the ... details. Oh my gosh, I'm clicking on the wrong screen. I'm literally clicking on ranges. You do the ... and whoops. Anyways, I already showed you all, but that's how you do it. Apparently you got to be verified to use it. However, you can send encrypted messages, and it sounds, at least the way they talk about it, it sounds okay. But Signal is the place that you ask me, okay, instead of saying who can be trusted or who don't trust, whatever, I'd be like, what is the app most likely to not screw me and actually do this correctly and has the abilities and capabilities and personnel and incentives aligned to actually help you communicate securely between parties? Signal is my current answer today. Yeah, it could change. They could get compromised too, but I think they're okay right now. So that is encrypted messaging. If you got to be a blue chip, you got to be a blue check mark here to do it. Or yeah, because apparently I'm not. Let's see, is that one? So he is, but I'm not. That's what it is. Anyways, thanks, Phasey Testy. I almost sent you a message. Thanks for being part of the demo. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well out there. Moving on though. Randy Hilarski, how's the world doing, man? Are we in good shape? Are we going to the moon? Do we have self-sovereignty? What is your current pulse of the world? I know it's a very small question. It's probably very easy to answer.
Well, I think that war seems to be getting closer and closer, and I hope that we are going into the winter, so hopefully the level minds win here and slow everything down. We don't need to have, in this day and age, why do we need to have war? It makes no sense to me. But oil's creeping up. I think oil's gonna have a pullback here soon, but it's still heading up because of the news of war. The VIX is starting to creep up a little bit. I think we're at 17.5 or 18 right now. on the VIX. The VIX is the sign that tells you that the higher the number is, the more uncertain people are when it comes to the markets. And overall, gold is, you would think that when the dollar rises, you would think gold would fall. They usually go against each other. But right now, the dollar is rising and gold is still keeping pace with the dollar. And that is a weird sign. That's like, okay, maybe the system is in worse shape than we know. And why are the central banks buying up all this gold right now? It's because they know the dollar's a shit show, and we're going to have some serious difficult times in the future, and they know that they're going to have to go back to money printing. So right now we might be in that pivot phase. So in the next 6 months or so, we're going to be moving away from raising rates to not doing anything to cutting rates again, because they can't do anything. Nothing can be done anymore ever since 2008 when they ruined the system by just printing money like crazy. And then obviously during the scamdemic, they printed billions upon billions more money than they ever printed in the history of the U.S. in a 1 year period. So we have massive inflation, and they don't seem to know how to control it. And Keynesians, the only thing that Keynesians know how to do with money is print it. So that's where we're going. And that's great for us as a crypto world, right? The crypto world, where when they have this big money transfer, when money gets moved around, guess where it's going to go? It's going to go where it's treated best, and that's gold and crypto. So I think that we're going to do very well in the next couple of years. Just right now, it looks uncertain. It looks dangerous. It looks like we're heavily we're taking on really heavy risk when we shouldn't be. But and my feeling is that we're near the bottom here, and over the next 6 months, this is when you're going to define your wealth for the next 10 years. So we could really do something big right now. And Kaiser, go ahead and clip that, sir. So, because I know he's going to. So
it's actually ineligible if you mentioned that during the stream. Sorry, Brandon. Better luck next one.
Disqualified.
The one thing I did want to bring up, we have 20 days until the spot ETF decision for BTC comes through. So if that watch that closely. If that comes through and they say, okay, go ahead with the spot ETF, Bitcoin's going to go on a run, and it's going to probably run all the way up until the halving. And it's probably going to grab a lot of the dominance as well. Probably run up to 60, 70, 80% dominance before we get our altcoin bull run. That's how it works, right? So right now we're still on track for our typical 4-year crypto cycle.
Yep, halving coming up in, is that April or so?
Yep.
Very cool. Any more full moons we should worry about though? What's the pulse on the sky?
And we're in a full moon right now. You always got to worry about a full moon.
Oh gosh.
Full
yeah,
moons,
but
don't mess with them, man.
but there's no more holiday. Have we got all the holidays out of the way? I know the ones you were talking about before.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's all gone. Yom Kippur just passed too, so we're doing pretty good. We're at 90% right now. Next full moon's 2.6 days, so we're in the realm of it. So get ready for some pullbacks, and I think the market's probably going to take a crap here in the next couple of days. It already did on Monday, so I don't know how much more.
I thought step back September was gone, and we're in October. Octo gains, 8x gains October.
And crypto, typically that's what we have, right? I mean, I think 8 out of the last 11, whatever, we've had really good runs in October. But this year, I don't think we're going to see it. It's going to be slow until we get that Bitcoin ETF approval, and then the election cycle begins in November. And that's when we know for sure they're not going to raise rates after that. If they continue to raise rates after that, that's telling you that the economy is way worse than they expected. They're like, oh my God, inflation's just out of control.
Cool. Want to pivot to post. I'll put this in the chat, so I want to discuss with you all too. We hit up Ben first here. Pros, because we had there's a conversation about, what if only HEX existed? What if is HEX, was PulseChain good for HEX, short term versus long term versus bigger community versus like all this stuff? And very interesting narrative I see on Twitter back and forth. And I kind of wanted to like lay this out to be at some sort of talking point, something that we can actually like look into and talk about for a minute. So yeah, Ben, just looking at this, like pros of just HEX, I kind of laid them out. Pros of just PulseChain. I kind of like left the cons to be inferred. You can kind of go the opposite on some of these things, but what do you think of the whole conversation around alternate reality, only Hex existed, PulseChain never launched. Oh my God, it never launched. It actually did 2 years later. However, we now have the subset of things to deal with. We have, we're just starting up 4 months in. Macro conditions didn't help us go to the moon or anything like that. But how do you sort of think about the community growth and the problems we need to deal with, but also the good things that came into play once we have this beautiful network that can't be gatekept?
I mean, I think it's a good thing overall. It's like you might have I like your city versus town thing there. It's like you have a small city with one good restaurant. I don't think the city getting bigger is going to harm the one good restaurant. If more restaurants come and then more visitors come for those restaurants, they're more likely to come back again to try the other restaurants. So eventually they might try the Hex restaurant. So it's like Bitcoin did whatever, the 660 million X, whatever. And there's all these new cryptos created. I think you could argue that was good for Bitcoin. If it had only been Bitcoin, it would have just been this obscure, weird thing that only like a small amount of people would have gotten into. So yeah, I think it's actually a good thing. I don't know. Like, I think it just is going to bring more adoption. I think all the fighting and drama is just because price is down. No one would care if Hex was at 50 cents on both chains right now. Like, oh, PulseChain's the greatest thing to ever happen to us. It's just the price is down, which everything's down. So it's kind of like, what, I don't think that's because we have PulseChain. So
yeah. What about you, Randy? What comes to mind in this conversation?
I'm just tired of the maxis. I've never been a maxi. I've always been the outsider in the Hex community. Even though I was always on the streams and everything, I was always the guy that was saying, look, there's other tokens out there. There's other projects out there. I've always thought it was hypocritical. And then PulseChain launched and they had to change their worldview and they became RHMaxis, which was really, sorry, your name, but the RHMaxi term.
I'm taking this conversation within context. I understand. Go on.
And that, to me, that was laughable because I'm like, okay, we're getting all these copies. They're all coming, all these people, and every project in Ethereum is going to have some money sitting on PulseChain. We have to be welcoming and have opening arms for these folks. So yeah, it did hurt the price for sure. But what that means is now the same group that built up Hex, now our job role has changed. Our job role has changed to becoming people that have to evangelize PulseChain itself and all the tokens on PulseChain. You can still talk about Hex. Like you see me within my Telegram or within my Patreon, I still say, look, 100 T-shares. If you don't have 100 T-shares, don't bother with anything else until you get those 100 T-shares. Get it staked out and then start building up your other bags. Because I think Hex is still the foundation that everyone should have. Hex
is my rock for sure. Yeah, I made a tweet recently about some of the other products I like, but it is literally, I think there's a difference in just liking, of course, love the blue chips. I think all of us do, but the ability to make the blue chips better and make the ecosystem grow with people who want to use all these banking products, maybe they want to do meme coins, they want to do whatever it is. It's a growth. I guess it's a growth argument. At the end of the day, it's a growth argument. How big do you want to be versus the feeling of like that nostalgia when it was just Hex. Like I get that feeling, but it's not really a growth feeling. It's more of a, hey, we can still, everyone does whatever they want to do. For example, you can stay true to all the principles, no admin keys, true trustless, true DeFi, all that stuff, and still participate and watch something grow into something that's just going to be, I hope, and everyone here hopes, just going to be amazing one day, where you're going to look and think, wow, how did we ever doubt 4 months in the PulseChain was going to rock the world the way that it did?
4 months in, they're talking crap already. It's amazing to me.
I think the biggest thing about talking crap is everyone's bags are down, and the macro's down, and then they're just looking for a game to play, and there's not a lot of healthy games to play right now. It's the bear market, and then they're like, okay, whose fault is this? It must be someone else's, and it must be those expectations that I had that I never should have had. And then it's kind of a cope. It's like half cope and half have like the feeling, which it's an understandable thing. I don't say cope in a way of like you shouldn't be doing it, but in a way that it is this natural instinct to be like, I want to win and I want it now. I've already delayed gratification 2 years. How can I win now? And I get that. I feel the angst. I understand it, everyone. I seriously do. No one promised you anything, so it's one of those things. It's kind of like if you had those expectations, you gotta figure out why you had those and survive, as Robert Downey Jr. did in Tropic Thunder. Survive.
I think it's like a culture shock too in a lot of ways, because we had HEX and it was the best thing, and that's what we're focused on. And now it's like a whole ecosystem of things, and a lot of people, I don't know, like it seems like a lot of people, they got into crypto through HEX. Like we onboarded a lot of non-crypto people, but Randy has been around forever. I got into HEX, but then I was in Polygon early and kind of saw it explode as a layer 2 with like all these new projects coming, and I witnessed it, witnessed the gains, saw how it all worked, played around with all the cool stuff. So I kind of understand what's out there outside of like HEX. I think a lot of people just don't, you listen to Richard Hart and it's like, well, everything outside of us is terrible. And like, yeah, there's a lot of reasons, but like Polygon did in the bull run, everything kind of goes up. Everything goes up. Polygon did super duper well. Like there's still stuff out there. It makes sense you wouldn't talk about other projects, but there's good things out there that are pretty cool that are being built that a lot of legitimate, I guess, big money people like to use, like on Ethereum. Like there's stuff outside of HEX that really savvy big money people know how to use, appropriately. So having that stuff on PulseChain, like the PH ecosystem stuff that's been built, I think is pretty cool. Hopefully there's no flaws or anything that happens in it, obviously, but I think it's just a culture shock. People are like, what? HEX was number one. What are we talking about? There's other stuff too. And it's like, no, there's always been other stuff. It's just Ethereum gas fees made it all unusable. Like it wasn't fun to use. It sucked. Polygon, I'll tell you what, Polygon like sucked at the beginning. Like it was so hard to use. Like it was hard to use the decks they had. Everything was really crappy. We're starting out at like a way better point than they did. So that makes me super excited. But yeah, I think it's a culture shock too, because it was like everything's wrecked and we're making new all-time highs, the classic Richard Hart. And then HEX outperforms in a bear market, and PulseChain's going to launch and we're going to 10x out the gate, which I guess technically we did for the whales. I saw someone say that the top sacrificers actually did get a 10x because of the volume bonus when most of us were at a 3x. It's kind of funny. So we actually did 10x and then dump, which I thought was going to happen. Oh yeah, we're going to 10x and dump. It seemed like a lot of people were thinking similar stuff. So yeah, it's like you said, Max, there's a lot of expectations that shouldn't have been there, but it's also like we went from this culture of like winning while everything was wrecked. So now we're like losing with everything else. And like, I don't know, I just feel like it's hard for people to like fathom it or understand it, I guess.
Different seasons for sure. Yeah. Season of win. I mean, I still don't, it's an interesting topic of just the mindset of people in certain market conditions versus, what they've been conditioned to. Yeah. I do agree that in a couple of years ago, we were used to winning. Like you see Richard streaming, it's just like a new all-time high every time. You got a flash across the bottom. And it's like, wow, this is the party that never stops. And then it's like, DCA go down, DCA down, DCA down. Oh, SEC. Oh, PulseChain launch. Oh, wow. I thought everything was supposed to go up and then it went down. Those feelings are real. Like everyone feels that. So if you're feeling them, you're not alone. However, yeah, some of the whales made out. Some of the people, there's probably plenty of people sold, the top, was it 2021, late 2021, early 2022. Maybe plenty of people made plenty of money off of it too. Yeah. Randy threw his hand up there. So it's not like everyone is losing all the time. It's just, there's different seasons and different decisions and everyone's, making their own deal. We just try to give them, I just hope that, I think that's the biggest thing that I hope for people. And one of the goals I have for the channel is get them the best information and the best tools in order to make their own decisions. I don't want to tell anyone what to do. I'll say, here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I've seen other people look at. Here's what I've seen work before. Here's what I've seen not work before. And then, it's kind of like, again, there's plenty of reasons to criticize, do your own research when, most people don't have the tools to do very good research. So they end up doing bad research. So I think there's a no context heart quote from Richard on that at some point as well. But having these platforms to tell people about the stuff is, it's, I don't think any of us can save people, but I think if we're all in it together and we have these aligned incentives, there's a lot of more winning that can be had. And I think that's something to look forward to, nothing else.
Yeah, my big thing is I just try to teach people how to take profits, take the emotions out of the game. And every time you set up a game plan, you stick to your game plan, you take profits accordingly. But yeah, we have different games now because we have liquid loans coming in Power City and all that. So that changes how I'll probably approach transitioning out of the bull market. But overall, you still have to learn how to take profits. If you don't, then you're just going to be crying. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, speaking of not taking profits anytime soon, I'll get to this real quick, Ben. I'll pass it back over to you. But Randy, can you explain the reason why you brought 100 T-shares? And those are, I imagine, if you're getting 100 T-shares, unless you are indeed a whale, you probably lock those up for a long time.
I love it because we could take the comment down though. Yeah, there we go. It's because you have to have a foundation, and HEX is so good because you delay your gratification. You take your coins. I'm not talking about owning HEX itself. T-shares are where it's at. You take your HEX, you stake them, right? Right now, I think it's about 30,000 HEX per T-share for a 1-year stake. You throw them out for a year, 2 years, 5 years, or, go the 4-year crypto cycle and profit when it's time for the cycles to go around. So my average stake length is 11 years. So that's a long time, but it's a great foundation. And if everything goes right, and I'm pretty sure it will, I'm not one of those people who thinks that HEX won't. I think that you need to have a foundation. The problem with other tokens is that there's no lockup capabilities, and you can always sell them, or you can use them for liquidity providing. You do all kinds of things with them. HEX saves you from yourself, and it saved me. I'm a perfect example of somebody who was a trader. I was a buy the rumor, sell the news guy. That's how I played crypto for years. Did very well with it. I would get to know teams. I'd get to know insiders. I'd find out when a coin's launching. I'd find out when a new feature's being added, and buy the news. Or someone would say some big news is coming, and they'd pump the news of the news, and it was all stuff like that for years in crypto, and it was fun. But HEX is just so much better because you get to sit back, you're earning yield, and it's anywhere from 16 up to about 38% APY, and you don't have to do anything for that. It just sits there and it keeps accruing for you with your T-shares. And 100 T-shares at the top of the last bull market was, let me see. So we were at 50 cents, right? And a T-share at the time was about 20,000 HEX. So you're looking at about $10,000. So at the top of the last bull market, that was $100,000 to get 100 T-shares. Well, what is it costing now to get 100 T-shares? It's 1/50th that, right?
Yeah, I actually looked that up recently, and it is insane. Like when HEX dropped crazy EHEX with the Godwell, I remember doing a video. It's like $7K to get 50 T-shares, I want to say.
That's crazy.
And it's great. And now it's got to be around that to get 100, right? Like it's
yeah.
Wow.
So congratulations everybody who was able to buy now and get their T-shares again, because that's a great opportunity. People argue EHEX, PHEX. Why not mix both? Put some in a little bit of each. I still believe that when the bull run happens, a lot of people are going to go into EHEX first because that's the easier one to get for most people who aren't already Hexkins. Especially if the video comes out and goes on Netflix. Richard's TV show that he did, the highest of stakes. I haven't seen it yet. So when that comes out on Netflix, whatever channel it's going to be on, that'd be pretty interesting, especially if that comes out during the beginnings of the bull run. And obviously people are going to find EHEX first. And I don't know what BankX is going to do. That's like a black cloud hanging over us. We have no idea what these guys are going to do with their 800 million HEX. But I mean, all you can do is hope that they take it out piece by piece by piece, and it'll hold back the price for sure. But I still say $2.50 will be a nice combined value at the peak of the next bull. If it does, then woohoo! Yes, I'm more than happy.
Woohoo. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh yeah, I was just saying, yeah, nice.
Continue
250.
celebrating for
All
at
right.
least 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
Nice. Just on this too, staying on top of t-shirts, we talk about PX and EX, someone new start. Randy sort of touched on this, but I'll just say my position real quick too is I go for the cheapest t-shirts. I don't care which network they're on as far as Ethereum and PulseChain. But yeah, how do you all approach this?
Whatever I'm in the mood for the day. I want to keep my t-shirts about the same on both chains.
I feel myself preferring PulseChain sometimes, like if I'm making a lot of stakes. But still, when I it's like every time I run the price through, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get some HEX to get it. I run the PX price through. I'm like, oh, that's not a lot. I run the EHEX through. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot more. I'm like compelled to do EHEX on that when I'm looking at PulseX prices and stuff. So that's another thing that plays into it.
And the one thing does play is I will not do long stakes on EHEX. I'm more likely to keep my EHEX liquid and maybe a single side stake it on something like 9inch when 9inch launches, because they're going to have single side staking pools for HEX. So, maybe I'll make the APY and single sided staking rather than, oh my God, the Hexicans are going to come at me for this one. But why not use you're supposed to use the contract? Well, I'll use somebody else's contract.
Shout out to Ethereum Fair and what was the other one? I don't remember.
ETHPOW.
ETHPOW and Ethereum Fair. Shout out to them. I haven't heard that for a while.
I got to go mint my stuff. That might be a good play for the bear market, to go in and buy as much Ethereum POW as you can. I wonder what the price is.
I don't want to use ETH at all, so I'm like PHEX. If I buy HEX, I'm going to be buying the PHEX. Sorry to trigger, but I have all my EHEX, so I'm like, great, That's
funny enough,
too.
I literally don't want to use Ethereum either. So when I get it on PulseX, and then like the only thing I do on Ethereum is literally like the staking portion. Like I don't do anything else on Ethereum. I bridge it over, stake it, and I'm back. I wish I didn't even have to do that, but I'm with you on that point.
Yeah, I guess I'm bitter too. I have a stake right now that's been bleeding for a while because it's literally like costs so much to end. I'm like, what, I'm gonna like end this stake to make like $20. And maybe there'd be a good time to end it because fees are low. Some days I just don't care about it. I'm like, oh man. But yeah, I don't know. PulseChain's it's so addicting. Like the cheap fees and zooming around and stuff. Like I really don't miss Ethereum at all.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's gone in the past. It's like Ethereum is literally like I want to give more fees. I want to use the network more. I want to contribute towards the volume. It's like more of the spirit of the community for PulseChain too. And it just makes sense as far as I see. I'm like paying, even if I pay $250 for a transfer or whatever, I'm like, I could have paid like a cent for that on PulseChain. Like, why am I using this network? Just want to look at the T-shares real quick. So yeah, if I do this. Yeah, so a million HEX 5555 gets you 100, and a million HEX right now is the show price. Is it 3,400? Oh my god, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Oh my gosh, I was like, that can't be right. That's not the right price, is it?
Jeez Louise, man. That's about the price where I got most of my HEX though. Was at 0.3 penny, and but those ones from the first 10 days, I don't even know what the price was, but it was really low. It was much lower than 0.3 penny. But yeah, that's 90% of my HEX came at that price or below. It's wow. Like crazy.
That's crazy. Let's just say a 10x here. Calculate. Wow. Yeah, I mean, just you can't. Where else are we doing this? Where else do these numbers come from? I don't see it. I don't see it. Just calculate this again. Yeah,
I always use that example of that one stake that I had come out in September 2021. That the original stake I did, it was the first week of HEX. It was worth $400. It came out as $151,000. It was like, it was only like 18 months or 19 months.
Wow, that was good timing.
Yeah.
I just tapped in a year, so you get even with a million HEX, you get 40 T-shares for only a year of staking. That is quite amazing as well. Again, $3,400. It does a 10x. I mean, just what Who's forgetting Hex? Is Hex boring? When you look at these numbers, do you feel bored? Like,
I remember what I was going to say earlier was like Hex feels like Randy was saying, get 100 t-shirts and stuff. Hex feels, I think of Hex as like my long-term savings. I know that jargon is not financial advice. That's how I think of it.
Yeah,
It's still risky. All the stuff is still super risky and could go to zero. So no one would be like, yeah, it's my long-term. That's how I think of it because I'm crazy, but I believe in it. I feel like I know it really well. But it feels kind of like a safety net when I have my Hex stake where I can mess around a little more because I'm like, oh, I still have my Hex stake. So in 15 years, even if they're at the same price that it is now or just a 10x from now, it's still like pretty awesome because of all the yield. So yeah, it makes me feel like safe having my Hex, which is a little crazy because this is crypto and it's wild, but I see it as a long-term thing.
That's the funny part. It's like crypto is so wild, unpredictable. It's just immature market. You can say all these things, and then you look at Hex, you're like, this thing makes sense. This is like the most stable of the volatile assets as far as like giving me what I want out of. I want to make more money. This thing seems to, historically speaking, it's made a lot of people more money. Hey, you buy at a certain time, the price goes down. It's not worth that at the time. That's the thing. I guess a lot of the comments come out are like, everyone's wrecked PulseChain, everyone's wrecked Pulse, everyone's wrecked Hex. Look at the price go down, and it's such a point in time thing. I don't even bother answering the questions very much anymore. I can't. There's so many layers to pull back. Of if you think you're wrecked because your bag number is down right now, there's so many layers to like get you on the same page of, first of all, what this thing is built to do. Second of all, the current macro conditions. There's so many. It's like a 20-minute conversation to get you up to speed with like why that may not be the case, or may not be. And again, everything stay down forever for all we know. But historically speaking, that doesn't happen. So it's just this point in time. Like maybe it's the red candle syndrome. Maybe it's just not clear thinking about it. But I think there's, I think that's why. A lot of pain.
Look, I think that's why my Patreon's doing so well, because every week, twice a week, we have a strategy call. We sit down, we talk about the current economic conditions, we talk about crypto conditions, we talk about the laws, the Fed, we talk about everything. And that keeps everybody up to date. Not everyone makes the meeting. It might only be like 20 or 30 people make the meeting, but the video ends up getting 150 views, something like that, private on the unlisted video. And that's the important thing, to keep people up to date, because I swear folks don't have time today. For some reason, people are so just busy. I don't know if it's busy doing something that's legit or busy doing something that's bullshit, but they're busy, and just being able to watch an hour-long video to catch up to speed is super beneficial in these times.
Yeah, busy usually just means it's not a priority. I don't have time, not a priority. Like right. You got time to eat? Yeah, okay, it's a priority. That sort of thing. So that's where a lot of it probably comes from. And they're like, I think it's again the point of just being down for. Somebody put it in the chat earlier. Let me paste it. It's a pretty good description. It was like prolonged wreck syndrome, I think.
Yeah, prolonged wreck syndrome, Russ.
Yeah. So it's once you get into that, it's you just don't feel like doing a lot of the stuff. You're like, I don't think it's going to help, that sort of thing. Like people getting that in their mind, no matter what happens, no matter what comes up, no matter what opportunity, they're going to be less likely to take it because they're not in that mood to But Randy the salesman knows what I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. It's you gotta get people interested and I'll find all of you. Fast Abdul, I was scrolling through the chat and I came across your comment. I love his comments. Speaking of that, though, you guys want to talk about you got a course coming up or otherwise A to Z crypto. You guys want to talk about that for a minute?
Sure. Go ahead, Ben.
Sure. Yeah. So this is the second edition. I guess you could say we ran it the first time in May, I think. So like a month and a half after PulseChain launch. So I can't remember exactly what that was, but yeah, we had, I think, 26 people sign up. We only got good reviews from people. A lot of people told us they found out how much they didn't know about crypto. And I've basically been building on the course from feedback from the first course to make it even better, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, now this time around, we've got more stuff on PulseChain. Like there's been a lot of developments. The bull market is kind of bubbling. I'm spicing up the course. There's a great security section. There's a great avoiding scams section. I think it's a good opportunity. You know, there's free stuff out there, you know, there's all kinds of content, but when you sit down and have it kind of structured and put together, I think it hits a lot different. And I think that's one reason people said, "Oh, we realized how much you didn't know." Because when you're listening to streams, you're maybe getting info at this level and this level. You're kind of popcorning around all these different information. It's kind of getting jumbled in. But when you have it structured, start to finish, it's pretty awesome. And we do it live. You get the recordings if you can't make the live course, but we have a Q&A at the end of every day. We're very generous with our time, and I'm going to be doing live tutorials. I have tutorials on my YouTube, but here it'll be live. You'll be there. You can raise your hand and talk through Zoom and say, "Hey, Ben, could you do that last part again and go a little slower?" I can be like, "Yeah," and we can pretty much customize the course however people want it when we're doing the Q&A and the tutorials. So, yeah, I think it's pretty awesome. Now's the time, I think. It seems like the bull market, like Randy was saying earlier, the 4-year cycle seems to be intact. I think me and Randy have this like awesome synergy where he has like all this experience and knowledge of just macro and crypto as a whole. He's launched like 30 projects before he really knows like the inside details of crypto. And then I just have this ability to kind of explain things simply. Like I just can like do really good tutorials, kind of keep things simple for people, be very patient. I think we just combine really well. And on the A to Z cryptocourse.com, you can see reviews the people left. And then DuBard.com, you can sign up. So the sign up went live last night. But I do think it's something that would save you a lot of money in the long run. And it's like extremely reasonably priced, like seriously. I mean, I get people who come to me who've been scammed a lot, and it sucks because I'm like, literally, if you had just like had a little bit more education, you wouldn't have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases. So, you know, crypto is serious. Like, it's like, yeah, you come in and it's fun and exciting, but like, it's a really serious thing. You could literally click a button and lose everything you have in there. Like you could, so, you know, getting the proper knowledge and actually understanding what crypto is about. I mean, you could go watch every Richard Hart stream out there. That would take a long time, and a lot of stuff's going to go over your head because like I said, it's popcorning around advanced beginner. So getting that kind of in order, I think is pretty sweet. So
for sure. I mean, when Ben and I decided to partner and do this, it was like 10 months ago, something like that. And it went really well that first course. And we decided we'll do it again. We'll just wait. We were thinking that it would be right at the beginning of the bull market. So we might be right on this. This is not something I necessarily want to do at the peak of a bull market because there's so many things going on. But at the beginning of the bull market, it's the perfect time to learn, educate yourself, get ready, be prepared, play around with all the tools. And the difference in this one versus the first course is that a lot of our PulseChain tools are available that we could show them live and play with fiat, play with fame, and do all these things. And hopefully liquid loans will be launched in the next couple of weeks. And that way you guys can learn and see how to do it firsthand instead of watching videos. So that's where we're going with that. And Spike did have Spike's got a question here for me. I know it's specifically for me since I'm on the Aurochs team. They were told to go quiet because they are in the process of going public to go on the New York Stock Exchange. So when you go through your filings with the SEC to go public, you are pretty much given a gag order on Twitter and such, and their chart shows it. When the marketing stopped, the price dropped. It's just natural. I'm a marketing guy. That's what I do. And I was told I couldn't say certain things online and those kind of things. So I still use the tool every day, and I still use the Aurochs wallet every day, but you don't see me talking about the URIS token and what possibilities the price can do. You know, hey, just know that they're working hard on going public right now. And if that news breaks out, then that's going to be a good time for all of us.
Yeah, usually when companies are going public, it's like they do a hiring freeze and like all kinds of stuff. They literally don't talk about. So
yeah,
I was going to say too, if you do want to watch videos and learn from Richard, I have new clips, new vintage clips coming out every Thursday until I think May 2025. Every Thursday, So there's already a bunch here. Oh man, am I on the right screen? Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, it says 253. Not all of them have came out yet. There's probably a good 100 or so, I want to say. But yeah, if you want your fix and RH stuff to learn from. And I saw that Ben did. I saw that. I saw Ben did a review of the first RH live stream, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. But yeah, if you want to learn from Richard and a lot of stuff he's talked about, one way or another. This is a project that I took on earlier this year. Like, let me do like 100 or 150. Like, oh, I need to do more. I want to go through every stream and clip every single significant thing. Oh, some of them don't have timestamps. Let me go get timestamps. And it was quite a project, but 148 are live. And I got a little over 100 more to go. So that's a fun place to get your RH gigs.
Hey, you're also a little over 250,000 views. It looks like too, approximately. If you average it out to 1,000 views per video, and about 250,000.
Oh yeah, that's true. I think the channel has got more views because especially when I try to put like little captions and titles and like make them. When I'll have them so I got them scheduled. But when I see some topic come up that everyone's like, oh, I need single-sided staking. What did Richard ever say about that? I'm like, oh, actually, I have one for that. Let me post that real quick. So it's like kind of cool to be timely for that kind of stuff as well. So. Bang bang bets and crypto.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah, a lot of people like the old clips. Especially when I first started posting, they're like, "Oh, it's really good to see." Especially since Richard hasn't been alive since I think the HEX conference January. It's when he had the message for the SEC back then. Shout out to that whole thing. Anyways, gents, what else? What do you want to wrap up on? Is there anything their market pulse or things you're particularly passionate about you want to talk about before we wrap up?
For me, it's just know that we're coming towards the end of a bear cycle. The stock market could drop a bunch over the next week or so. This is the most dangerous time. I think that once the election cycle begins in the United States, things will calm down. I think the war is probably going to calm down because we're going into the winter. I don't care what that little midget guy over in Ukraine says, saying, "Oh, we're going to do an attack in the winter." Yeah, good luck on that in Russia. Come on. We've seen how that's always worked out. You guys can't even win during the summer. What are you going to do in the winter? So I think everything's going to calm down this winter. We're going to chill, and we need some chill.
Chill in a good way, like price go down, or chill in a everyone just calm down.
No,
just calm down.
Everyone just needs to calm down. It's like chill, just relax a little bit. Go get some space brownies, do something. Just love each other.
Space brownies or spaced brownies?
Space brownies, brother. Space brownies.
Gotcha. Totally spaced on that one. Ben, anything else you want to cover? I know we talked about the community course. We talked about RH stuff. Yeah, let's maybe take it on that. I didn't watch all the stream you did on the RH video, but what is the couple minutes summary of like what you found was most interesting about just watching some of his early stuff? Let's bring up vintage up here right now.
It was funny because it's like a 6-year-old stream, and he was talking about stuff that's kind of relevant today now in crypto. He was talking about the Oracle problem. He was talking about the same thing he says. All traders get wrecked. Long-term holders win. It's so funny just how consistent his messaging has been and how ahead of the curve he's been on a lot of stuff. So yeah. It's pretty cool. His early stuff really shows how smart he is. Like a lot of people, I think, joined the community and like they saw his flashy stuff or his outrage marketing. They don't realize he's literally just like a giant like dork. I mean that in like a good way, Like he's got videos where he's like, oh yeah, look at my keyboard, and he's like, oh, I love the clickety clack, and he's like, oh, this one sounds so good. And he's like, this is my QC3B keyboard, and he's like, oh yeah, and it's just like it's like the biggest dork in the world, dude. What in the world?
I remember him saying like I would get more views if I did keyboard reviews than talking to you guys right now. Like in the early days, he talked about that.
Yeah. So if you go back and watch, you really see he's just like, and he's just very straightforward. I think someone said in the chat, that's back when his chats were like, he was like a drill sergeant in the chat. It's really funny when he would like go in on people in the chat. Yeah, some of those early streams are just really awesome, so worth going back and giving them a watch.
For sure. Yeah, and if you like I said, I got the playlist here, so if you see one you like, I've linked in every single one. There is the original clip to the one. So if you like it, go down here, click on the original, and you can see where it came from and watch all of them. Also, hexsearch.io. Shout out to them because you can find a lot of stuff there. Yeah, you'd be like, are they going to type in SEC, and you can sort by newest, so you can see the latest stuff of what he's mentioned on that type of thing too, which is the last one he did earlier this year. You can see him on Fresh and Fit talking about it, which I didn't even know that was a thing. I actually kind of want to catch up on some of that myself. And he was on, who's this guy? I forget his name again.
David Gottstein.
Yeah, Gottstein. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. This was a fun one when he was on with that girl. I forget her name too, but oh man, that was a good interview.
Teen Crypto or something.
Miss Teen Crypto. Yeah, that was good. I remember that was like a whole big, anticipated stream too when that happened, because she was really big in the Zoomers and all that. All this, she's like really big on TikTok or something too. So that was cool to get that kind of exposure as well. So shout out to hexsearch.io. You are having a ton of utility in the community. Yes. Shout out to Crypty Girl. Crypty Girl. Yes, very good resource indeed. All right, everyone. That's all we got for you today. Great stream. Great to get in. Get some pumps in with you guys. Get some pumps in today. Nice. What do you? Ben. We'll start Ben and then go to Randy. What are you going to take us out on?
If you think the A to Z course is for you, then by all means sign up. Be awesome. I think it's going to be amazing. Hit the like button. The bull run seems close. Now's the time to take care of your security. Make sure you're not vulnerable. Make sure you feel ready and safe for the bull market. So yeah, I just hope everyone takes that to heart and actually puts some effort into that, because none of this matters if you don't take that seriously. None of this holding and going down 90%, dealing with it and waiting and going on matters if you make a stupid mistake or you don't even have your seed phrase protected. So yeah, it's really want to take people out on. And, me and RHMax had a security week. That is some awesome stuff to watch. It was like 5-6 hours of content.
Yeah, at least, the whole week.
Pretty amazing week of security stuff. So, I mean, the content's out there. So, yeah.
Yeah, video content. We got plenty of it on security. Me and Ben both, and plenty of other streamers. And then, Ben's got some security in the course as well. Randy Hilarski.
We do have a token launching called Nope, the Nope token. It's a meme for us anarcho-capitalists and libertarians to just like anything the government tells us to do, nope. And that's going to be launching and airdropped to all No Permissions members. And we'll have a launch on 9-inch when it's about 30 days after 9-inch launches. So we got to wait for 9-inch first and then start the countdown. And we'll be ready to go. So that's what I'm working on. And we got to build a website. Got to do these things and be ready to go before it's time.
Software is hard. I've heard that before. So hopefully
not for meme tokens. Meme tokens rock, man. I love it.
I think did somebody say on GoPulse you can just mint tokens from there? It makes it really easy.
I already did it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll talk about that sometime too. I haven't tried it out, but yeah, because I did it manually on Ethereum before. I have a blog talking about it.
It took 2 minutes.
It was amazing. They have revolutionized the token minting abilities these days. Very cool.
Yeah, and 9-inch, I'm expecting them anytime. I really do believe they're waiting on Fetch. So as soon as Fetch launches, you'll see 9-inch announce that they're going to launch.
Yeah, I think Fetch and a lot of Liquid Loans, Power City, a lot of them are seem to be whatever uses oracles. I think everyone's sort of waiting. That's the thing. Everything seems to be waiting on. It's either custodial services to figure stuff out. If it's Coast and stablecoins and stuff, that finally seemed to be resolved, or it's the oracle services that when people need price feeds and otherwise. And then we get this show on the road. We get this chain. At least sentiment to the moon. I have no idea what the price is going to do, but hopefully sentiment to the moon once we get a lot of other stuff launched.
Yeah, I would like to see the price start moving, but it takes time.
I'm not holding my breath, but when I look outside and I see that it's a sunny day and not missiles raining down, we got a chance. We got a chance.
Absolutely, brother. All right, guys. Thank you. I'm going to go have some lunch and go enjoy time with the fam.
Same here. Cool. Thanks, gentlemen. And Scivive and 5555. We are out.